Hello everybody, I'm River from the Portland City Gym. Today we're going to be going over a deck that I think has a lot of potential going forward. A lot of people aren't too uh, enthusiastic about BLOWNS, but I do feel like BLOWNS is going to be a tier 1 peak, just absolute peak Pokemon TCG. I can't remember what rating I gave it on my post-rotation deck tier list video, but if it wasn't tier 1, then I was wrong. Because my opinion of it has definitely changed. I'm not usually a BLOWNS player. Sorry. Usually, yeah. Usually what happens is that each season, I'll just kind of focus on one deck and play it. This season, now that I'm going for my Worlds invite, doing things a little differently, but so I'm going to be covering a variety of decks. So yeah. So BLOWNS, probably one of the strongest cards of printed in the Sun and Moon era. Just absolutely broken card, broken attack. Has 2 attacks, a Blazer, 10 damage. Turn one of your face-down prize cards face up, and if it's a fire energy, it does a total of 60. 60 for 1 energy isn't terrible, however, you hopefully won't have to be using that. And the prize card stays up for the rest of the game, obviously. So that's a neat little first attack. Next up is the main focus of the deck, the hardest hitting attack probably in the entire game. No damage limit, insane damage potential, Fireball Circus. For 3 fire energy, it does 50 damage, and you discard any amount of fire energy from your hand. And for each fire energy you discard, it does 50 damage. So you discard 6 energy, bam, 300 damage on a 1-prize Pokemon. That's broken! Charizard VMAX for 5 energy does 300 damage, and it has to discard 3. That's an evolution Pokemon. A 3-prizer. What the? Who would ever want to play Charizard VMAX over Blacephalon, right? Now, you may be thinking, oh, well, it has extra HP, so it can live attacks. Can it? Can it really? Because I don't think it's living an attack against Blacephalon. Sorry, it's just not. Really enthusiastic about this deck, if you couldn't tell. Think it's going to be probably one of my picks for the 2021 season. This has a lot of really good matchups, a lot of 60-40s, a lot of 80-20s. It's honestly just across the board, it has a very little losses. Now, the list I went with was a no JIRACHI list, so I did play some things to make up for that. For those who don't know, I do not like running JIRACHI in my decks unless absolutely necessary. If there's a no JIRACHI variant, I'm playing it. Now it's not like JIRACHI's too expensive or anything, because JIRACHI went severely down in price from the League Battle decks, and plus I play Dedenes, so I go with whatever's competitive. But I also like to go with whatever doesn't have JIRACHI. I feel like it's just from the era of where Trainer's Mail existed. It's just a cheap. It's like a great value brand of Trainer's Mail. It should have never gotten as expensive as it did. It should have been like $8 at the very most. I just don't like it. I don't like what it stands for. You have to play a lot of cards to compensate for it going to sleep, like Switch, Scoop Up Nets, Skateboards. I mean, obviously a skateboard rotates, but Switches, Scoop Up Nets, etc. All for what? So that you can have a slightly better Trainer's Mail? I wish that they'd just reprint Trainer's Mail. It would be so good in so many decks. And honestly, it makes me really sad that they won't print it again. Vivid Voltage. Come on. This is your time to shine. Vivid Voltage, give us Trainer's Mail back. It's what the format needs. It'll send JIRACHI out of the water. No more. Please. But until then, I'm just playing no JIRACHI lists. To compensate for that, I play 3 copies of Dedenne GX. Most Blacephalon lists you'll see play 1, maybe 2 Dedennes. I opted for 3, 1 for the extra consistency to make up for the lack of JIRACHI, and 2 because this is just a really aggressive deck on its own, and we don't take up all that much bench space. We only play, let's see here, 11 benched Pokemon. So think about it like this. We will probably end up playing at least 2 Dedennes in a game. So your bench is going to look something like this. Active Blown, benched Blown, 2 Dedennes, an Oricorio, and probably a Zacian. So that's like going to be like your usual board setup. If you want to drop down to 2 Dedenne to find room for something else, that makes perfect sense. However, I opted for 3 just for extra consistency. Then we play 1 copy of Oricorio GX. Like I said, Blowns, it's a 1 prizer, it gets knocked out more easily. So Dance of Tribute is really, really good for 1 prize decks just in general, or especially Blacephalon. Dance of Tribute, if one of your Pokemon are knocked out during your last turn, or your opponent's last turn, you draw 3 cards. You can only use 1 Dance of Tribute per turn. So just definitely very, very strong. Really good consistency card. So yeah. Oricorio. Nice. Next up we play 1 copy of Zacian V. Zacian V for Intrepid Sword, obviously. Very, very good turn 1 card. You're going first. You're not, if you don't attack with Fireball Circus, pretty much, it is a 1 turn thing. You quick ball for it, Intrepid Sword, draw 3. You're doing that once. If you have to Intrepid Sword more than once, you're losing the game. On your first turn, you Intrepid Sword, and that's the only time you do it. Is it maybe a kind of a stupid reason to play Zacian? No, it's not. First turn for Blacephalon is very, very important, as is for many decks, honestly, but Blacephalon more than most. 1 copy of Cramorant V. Cramorant V is an absolutely amazing card next to Welder. Welder, obviously, you guys should know what Welder does at this point. Spit Shot, very, very strong. 3 colorless. Discard all energy attached to it, and does a 160 damage wherever you like. I may consider cutting it just because Bench Barrier Mew is so common to counter things like Cramorant, but only time will tell since there are no tournaments. Next up, we play 1 copy of Eldegoss. This is to get back things like Welder, Boss's Orders, or Ultra Force Cartonvoy, which we do play 1 copy of, in case we need it again. So Eldegoss V, does very, very strong. Notice how all the other Pokemon we play, other than Blacephalon and Cramorant, I guess, are all support Pokemon. None of the other cards are none of them attack. None of them attack. I mean, I guess you could attack with Eldegoss, but don't. Just, oh jeez. Just don't. If you're doing that, you're losing. Sorry. For them, for supporters, 4 copies of Welder. And attach it to 2 energy, fire energy from your hand, and draw 3. It's absolutely broken card. Sadly, Blacksmith is never this good, but Welder is. Then we play 3 copies of Boss's Orders. This deck is extremely, extremely glass cannon-y. It's going to absolutely explode in your face, and then that's it. It's a type of explosion where there is no, like, nuclear aftermath. It's just, it's a lot like a kamikaze. It just explodes, kills everything, and that's it. There's no aftermath. Just straight Fireball Circus, Fireball Circus, Fireball Circus, and that's it. If you are, if you're using like 2, if you're using, basically, if you run out of Blacephalon, you're losing, obviously because we play no recovery cards, but also if you come to the point where you lose all 4 of your Blacephalon, get out of here, man. Get out of here. Because honestly, you're not the type of person who should be playing Blacephalon. You're playing it wrong, 100%. Because this is just the type of deck that hit hard and hit fast, and it really burns itself out really quickly. It runs out of resources, runs out of energy retrievals, fire crystals. It just runs out of everything really, really quickly. It draws really, really quickly. So you want to minimize the amount of Fireball Circuses that you have to use, because using any more than 3 Fireball Circuses in a game, you're running the risk of burning yourself out. And burning yourself out is obviously the worst way to lose. So 3 copies of Boss's Orders definitely really, really helps out. You may think it kind of clashes with Welder, and how, you want to play Welder every single turn to charge up Fireball Circus. Well, we have another way. Don't worry about it. For now, at least. So next up, we play 1 copy of Ultra Forest Cartonvoy. Ultra Forest Cartonvoy is a lot like Pokemon Ranger. For those who played during that time. Basically, it says during this turn, damage from your Ultra Beast's attacks isn't affected by any effects on your opponent's active Pokemon. This is how you're going to get through things such as Obstagoon and the like. Can't really think of anything that blocks off damage from basics, but more will come out, I'm sure. But honestly, just this deck just has a really tough time against Obstagoon. Sure, Obstagoon isn't like that good right now, but honestly, if you don't play this card, Obstagoon is going to be the toughest matchup for you, because what they're going to do is they're just not going to put down any other Pokemon, so there's no bosses ordering anything, no bosses orders. Just going to leave 1 Obstagoon, and that's it. If they don't expect the Ultra Forest Cartonvoy, then you automatically win. They don't bench any other Pokemon, so you can't bosses order them up. But for you, it's they don't bench any Pokemon, that means that you can donk them. So Ultra Force Cartonvoy is definitely very, very strong for that reason. 4 copies of Quick Ball. Quick Ball, it's Quick Ball, man. Oh, and did I tell you? It's Quick Ball, which is why they play 4 of it. 4 copies of Energy Retrieval. You don't see 4 copies of Energy Retrieval all that much, but I feel like it's just imperative for this deck's consistency. As you can see, this deck is extremely, extremely consistent. A lot of 4 ofs, a lot of 3 ofs, and there's a 14 of. So yeah. Then we play 4 copies of Fire Crystal. Oh, and by the way, for Energy Retrieval, just think of it as an Electro Power, except it's a Fire Power, and it does 100 more damage. That's basically what it is. Fireball Circus, like I said, does 50 damage for each Fire Energy. You get 2 Fire Energy back from your discard pile. That's an extra 100 damage for Fireball Circus. That's broken. Okay? Say you Energy Retrieval twice, bam, plus 200. Easy. Fire Crystal 1 time, bam, plus 150. That's 350, 7 energy, knocks out everything in the game. No questions asked. But I want to survive. No. Even the Caporaja stall deck, which has seen very minimal success, let me tell you. But the Caporaja stall deck with some Cardinal Melmetal and Metal Goggles and all that stuff with 340 HP Caporaja, they lose Metal Frying Pan. So there's weak to you now. So nothing lives. It doesn't matter your opinions, your thoughts, your hopes, your dreams. Nothing lives. A VMAX with a big charm, probably. Well, actually, maybe. Most have 320. Big charm makes 350. Still gets killed. But on that rare occasion that they are playing big charm for a VMAX, then, add another energy. You play Giant Hearth. So if you can play 2 Energy Retrievals and a Fire Crystal, you can probably play a Giant Hearth to get 2 more Fire Energy out of your deck. So 4 Energy Retrieval, 4 Crystal, 4 copies of Pokegear 3.0. this is a way for us to get our welders, our boss's orders, and our Ultra Force cart envoys, which is just our supporters. But most of our welders, we really want a welder as soon as possible so that we can charge up Fireball Circus and just start absolutely crushing. One copy of Lucky Egg. Blacephalon dies very easy, like every single turn. It just ups and freaking dies. 120 HP. You're not living anything, like at all. So Lucky Egg is very, very strong. This gets knocked out. Draw cards until you have 7 in your hand. Very good consistency card. Paired with things like Oricorio, just really makes breaking with this deck very, very difficult. Then we play one copy of Beastbringer. Beastbringer is very, very strong in this deck because basically it says that if you have 6 prizes remaining, and if your opponent's active Pokemon is a GX or an EX, then you take 1 prize card extra. Very, very strong. Then we play one copy of Palpad. Palpad is definitely a very cuttable card. It just puts 1 supporter from your discard pile, 2 supporters from your discard pile, shuffles them back into your deck. We have Eldegoss, so maybe Palpad's irrelevant. 4 Giant Hearth, with max consistency on this one. Again, you could go down to 3, but I wouldn't play any less than 3. And then 14 copies of Fire Energy. It seems like a lot compared to most lists. Most lists play like 12 or 13. I opted for 14 just for the max consistency. Now you may be wondering, where are the other 4 slots? Good question, random citizen. Whatever you guys like. You could play 4 Turbo Patch. I don't know about Turbo Patch, really. Maybe it'll be good. Maybe it won't in a deck like this. This deck is mostly welder based. So just keep that in mind. Something I just realized I forgot to put in this list was switches. So if you want to play a whole 4 switch, which I don't think is necessary, I feel like 4 switch is a bit much. 3 seems like a decent number. But probably like 3 switch. Use those 4 slots. Now initially I did consider putting in Turbo Patch, but through the recording of this video, actually, I realized, wow, Turbo Patch wouldn't be that great in this list. We have Welder, Giant Hearth. It's pretty consistency DD'd out. Excuse me, dogs barking. Don't know if you guys can hear that or not. Now some 2-ofs, or just some ways to fill those 4 slots that I could recommend. I feel like this is very like a bare bones list, like a very skeleton, like non-teched out list. This is pretty standard what you're gonna see for most BLOWNS lists in the future. Maybe not the 3 Dedenne. Maybe they'll probably still have Jirachi, but other than that, pretty bare bones stuff. So yeah, which is why, especially why I left the 4 slots open, so that you guys can tech it out yourselves, really make it your own, cut some cards, add some cards. But I'm actually pretty confident in this list. I'm probably, once turn opens back up, this is probably one of the first decks that I'll be testing. Just because I really do like BLOWNS. Just the concept of it, even though I never really built it. So yeah, that's the list, or 56 cards in the list. Let me know what you guys would fill the 4 slots with. Like I said, I was originally going to fill it with Turbo Patch, but I'm not doing that because, yeah, it sounds decent on paper, but it's really not. But anyway, definitely let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. And as always, this is River from the Portland City Gym, signing out. Yeah, still not editing this out.